What's up?
What's up, y'all?
Look who's back together again.
That's right. It's so nice to be sitting next to my beautiful wife and not looking at her over a screen.
Yeah.
You're so cute.
Can you tell I'm excited?
Okay. It's so awesome, y'all. So you ready?
Let's do this.
All right. 1, 2, 3.
Dang.
You had no cracks at all?
I had like
What?
2 cracks.
I got a few right there.
What up, Pete?
What's up, y'all?
Welcome back to the Let's Make Out podcast, where we make out all things what?
Love, life, and laughter, y'all.
That is right.
Yes.
This is an exciting day because Babe is officially out of self-isolation.
Yes.
Yay! Yay! Cue the cheers. In the
Yes,
background.
it's awesome to be out.
Yes.
Like,
Awesome to be sitting next to you.
yes, it's just awesome. Yeah, I think it was the 22nd is I tested, and then the 24th I got the call.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, last week. So I think it was Thursday
when I
when
got the
last
call.
week's episode went up.
So yeah,
That was the day.
I tested Tuesday. Yeah, and then Thursday. So I had to wait 2 days for my results.
Yep.
It was what we were like banking on. It was funny because when I got tested, they called me less than 24 hours later and said I was positive, right? Well, when they got tested, it
was 2 days.
was like
for
2
each of
days
us.
for
Yeah.
all three of them, right?
Yep.
So when they didn't call me back the next day on Wednesday, I was like, I bet you
This
means
is probably a
that means I'm
sign.
negative. That means I'm negative.
Yeah.
And sure
Sure
enough,
enough.
Thursday when they called,
Yeah.
he told me I was negative. I thanked Jesus on the phone and everything. He was just like, okay, thanks, have a good day, sir. I mean, he didn't really care about
He
my
didn't really
thanking
care.
Jesus, but it wasn't for him anyways.
Yeah,
but
so, I mean, it makes sense for them to escalate people that are
Yeah,
in fact
exactly.
positive. So that
No,
makes sense why
it makes a
took,
complete
you know,
sense.
1 day, if that, for you to get the results.
absolutely,
But,
so
man. Woo!
it's crazy.
Thank you guys.
Yes, thank you
so
so
much
much.
for all the prayers, all the encouragement.
Yes.
Even on our last podcast, you know, just all the sweet words and everything, like just kind of understanding like where we were coming from. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, we just appreciate. Just all the prayers
You
for
guys
sure.
are
I mean,
awesome.
you guys are awesome, and I mean, it's just we hope that you take our story, with how we dealt with COVID
Mm-hmm.
and we didn't let it get us down. We didn't let it beat us up and ruin the 12 days that we were away from each other. We used the best that we could. Like we just prayed every day. We were just thinking positive thoughts that God was gonna when it was time to go get tested, that we would know it's time, and we would know that it would be because I was negative.
Yeah.
And so
It's faith, man, a faith journey.
Yeah,
for
faith journey.
sure.
And here's the thing, but I also want to tell you the other side. Even if I would have still been positive,
Yeah.
we still would have been happy, and we still would have been thanking God for His love.
Well, absolutely.
Because it doesn't always go the way that you want sometimes, but it goes the way that it's meant to go.
Yeah.
And you have to try to, if you believe in God, then you know that He's got something bigger and better for you. So this just happened to be our story, and we're thankful that it was. So
yeah. We are just so thankful.
Yes,
So
very
happy to
thankful.
be back together again. The kids
Yes.
were super excited.
Man.
Oh my goodness.
When-
it was so funny.
Yeah.
But when he just came out of the room, and it was the funniest thing.
It was funny because I was filming. So I filmed as soon as I got off the phone call and found out I was negative. I filmed just in the moment, because I was emotional. It was just amazing to hear. And then I wanted to film Gabriel and the kids,
our
reactions. And so I came out the room, and you can't see Gabriel's face because I had it turned on me, but you can see like after she realized it, her face was so funny because she was looking at me like, "Why?"
Because he was like coming towards me,
Why
trying
you
to
walking
like,
closer?
I was like, I
Hang
kept
on, what you
backing
doing?
up.
He's like, what you
"Ah."
doing? And then I grabbed her, and she was like, I think it hit
dawned
her,
on me.
hit her
Yeah,
that I
like,
must have got the call. And then the kids heard us hugging, or heard us like
something, and they came up the steps.
came up, and
yeah.
then like just that moment
it
is
was
just
so sweet.
so
It was
special.
just like hugging in the hallway.
oh my
It was
goodness.
the best feeling ever.
It was amazing.
It was
so
awesome. Yeah. So it gets better. To anybody that's going through it, I've actually had a couple of people reach out to me and tell me that they are going through the same thing, where their spouse is tested and the rest of the family is fine, so they're self-isolating. It gets better. hang in there, have faith, and just make the best of the situation however you can,
Yeah. And we're sending our well wishes and prayers to you.
Absolutely.
And don't let it beat you.
Don't let it get you.
Just be positive, keep your faith, like Gabriel said.
Yeah. So it's been a fun I don't know, what has it been, like 6 days? Yeah. It's Wednesday today because we're a day late filming this podcast. But it's been good. We've just been kind of hanging out. Sunday ended the quarantine for all of us since we were all exposed.
Ended the 14-day quarantine.
We stayed at home for 14 days. So not that there's anywhere to go.
It's not like we're
we've
anywhere,
been running out anywhere.
But we're officially off of quarantine.
Yeah, we're off of the quarantine period where we're all at home. So that's nice. I'm looking forward to going to the pool because I've been trying to get to the pool for 3 weeks now. I feel like right before you found out, I was like, oh, I'm going to the pool this week.
She did.
We're going to have a good time. And then it was like, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah, she did.
So, actually, it's funny. Chad Jr., he just came in here because he wants to go to the pool. And he's like, are you guys done yet? And we're like, no, we just started. So hopefully this week I'll go to the pool.
We're supposed to have a call at 3 o'clock, but I might reschedule that because it's not that important.
You're so funny.
It's not.
It
doesn't. Here's the thing. Here's what I want to tell you. Is that when you guys know this, sometimes you fill your day up with things, right? And it's just because there are things that you're doing or things that, some of it's you has to be done.
Yeah.
Some of it is you want to get it done, and some of it is it doesn't really matter if it gets done.
That's true.
And this is one of those things that, yes, we want to do it, but at the same time, it can wait another day. If we have a chance to spend quality time with our kids, and hang out with them and go to the pool or do something fun.
Yeah. Then that's what we should be doing. You know what? That's I didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry. Were you finished?
No, it's finished.
But it's funny you said that because last week I had a therapy session. And I was, this was my first time talking to her since the whole self-isolation thing. So I was just telling her how rough it had been that first week and nothing had got done and I felt bad and all of the stuff. And then I was talking about the things that I had to do that day. And she was like, I really want you to sit down and think about what is a need, what has to get done and what do you want to get done? Because she was like, I really think that you have a hard time distinguishing between the two, what really has to get done. And I was just like, well, I got to edit the podcast. I have to get that done. We had sponsors on the podcast that I had, we had to get it up the next day. Yeah. But I had a couple other calls besides her. And she's like, but do you have to have those calls today? Is it okay if you were to send a message and push the calls to another day? What would happen if you did that? And I was like, well, I really want to participate. And, and I'm, one was with somebody that I'm working with. And she was like, but again, you are actually paying this person that you're meeting with. So if you're not available, it's totally okay for you to reschedule because
you hired them.
So it was it's interesting you say that because now I find myself okay, because I put everything on my list. And to me, if it's on the list, it has to get done.
She does. Yeah.
It has to get done. But in reality, it doesn't have to get done that day. Only
thing that has to happen that day is breathe,
right?
Eat, drink, go to the restroom.
I mean, there are work deadlines. There are things that have to get done, but all that other stuff was no. So we say all of that to say, if you find yourself overwhelmed with what you're doing, maybe take a look at what you have on your list and
see what actually has to get done.
Reprioritize it. Does that make sense? Is it an actual need? Is somebody waiting on it? Is it a deadline? Are you gonna lose your job if you don't get it done, or can it wait till tomorrow?
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's good. It's interesting you said that. So with that being said,
I'm ready though.
He's ready. Yeah. We're gonna cue the music.
That's right. Here we go.
All right. Okay. So while we're thinking of that, do you want to go ahead and send the email to reschedule this call?
Yes, I do.
Before we get a little further, and then I will look for the question that we're going to do. Which book you want, Shouty? Which book you want? What you want? I got it. 4,000 question book, 1001.
1001.
1001. The complete book of questions. Okay. What number you got for me, Shouty? He clearly can't multitask, as you can see. 1001.
Let's go with 987.
Okay, 987. Mm-hmm. Not to be confused with 187.
That's right.
Let's see. Okay. How do you feed your spirit? I think this is in the religion section.
How do I feed my spirit?
How do you feed your spirit? I think that's a good question. Do you have a reason or a way that you feed your spirit?
I think that what I've tried to do more is I try to do my devotion each day. I've been doing pretty good at getting that done. I've been trying to do my 1 year reading Bible. I'm about 20 days behind, but I'm okay with that. I mean, I can.
No,
that's because sometimes I do 2 days in a row. That way I'll catch up. So I was more days behind. So now I have caught up a little bit. So I will catch up. And my goal is to have read the entire Bible, using like the Bible app, using one of the plans.
Like the little devotionals that they have. Yeah.
And then, like anytime I just feel like, if I'm thinking about something or if I'm, I'll say like a little prayer real quick, just like I'll pray about something and just, if I start feeling anxious about something or if I'm, I just say a little prayer, and just, so there are things, and I've been journaling. I started journaling, so I've been journaling. And so in there, I talk about how I feel and, as far as like, what I'm asking God to do and, or what I think God needs to do. Cause we all do that. We all tell God what he should do sometimes. And
we do.
So I just try to, I write down what I think should happen, but then pray for, the openness of receiving what's supposed to happen, because, his plan is definitely better than mine. So yeah, that kind of just, so it's just a work in progress. It's a work in progress of my morning routine is not anything like I want it to be. So I've got to get it to that point. Because I want to spend more time, like just quiet time and some praise and worship time with God. I want to do that. We love praise and worship music.
Yeah, worship. I was gonna say worship music is kind of how I feed my spirit. Like I feel like too. when I need like a quick pick me up or like a reminder or whatever, I am either reaching for like my Jesus Calling app. Probably hadn't read it yet that day, or I just throw on some like worship music and listen to that, and it's amazing how it can just change the whole trajectory of your day.
So true.
It can completely switch up everything. So it's funny, as he was talking, I pulled up my Jesus Calling app because I was I haven't read my my devotion today. So you guys really enjoyed hearing the devotion last week. So I'm just going to read today's Jesus. This is the Jesus Calling app, and it says today, "Come to me continually. Come to me continually. I am meant to be the center of your consciousness, the anchor of your soul. Your mind will wander from me, but the question is how far you will allow it to wander. An anchor on a short rope lets the boat drift only slightly before the taut line tugs the boat back towards the center. Similarly, as you drift away from me, my spirit within you gives a tug, prompting you to return to me. As you become increasingly attuned to my presence, the length of the rope on your soul's anchor is shortened. You wander only a short distance before feeling that inner tug, telling you to return to your true center in me." And the scriptures for this, because I forgot the scriptures last week. We have this hope. We have this hope as an anchor for the soul, firm and secure. It enters the inner sanctuary behind the curtain. That's Hebrews 6:19. And now, dear children, continue in him so that when he appears, we may be confident and unashamed before him at his coming. 1 John 2:28. And then the last one is Jesus replied, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. And that's Matthew 22:37.
That's a good one.
Just in case you need a little devotion for the day.
Yeah, so I think that's...
There we go.
But yeah, that's just, it's just important to always try to, focus and center yourself each day anyways, and if you believe in God and you have faith that he is, who he is, then, why not centering on him? Yeah. And that's what we're trying to do. It's an everyday process. It's an everyday thing that you sometimes you feel like you get it right, and then some days you feel like you were way off. Like it is what it is, but I mean, it's all worth it though. Yeah, it is. Absolutely. So, with that, I actually wanted to kind of jump into our first sponsor, because it's talking about, just kind of centering yourself and taking care of yourself. Yeah. I'm sure that some of you are dealing with things that are, stopping, feel like you're stopping you from reaching your goals, and they're putting you in a place that maybe you don't feel like you can reach your goals. Like you can't do them, so you're not even going to try. You're just in a bad mental space. I know it's very easy to get into that, especially in 2020. Especially right now. Yeah, especially right now. So I want to tell you about BetterHelp. That's BetterHelp, HELP. So what they do is they'll assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist. You can start communicating in under 48 hours. It's not a crisis line. It's not self-help. It's a professional counseling done securely online. So it's a real therapist, somebody you can really get help from. There's a broad range of expertise available, which may not be locally available in many of your areas. So, if you've got specific needs, you can, maybe find someone perfect for that. The service is available for clients worldwide. You can log into your account anytime and send a message to your counselor. You'll get timely and thoughtful responses, plus you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions so you won't ever have to sit in an uncomfortable waiting room as with traditional therapy. BetterHelp is committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches, so they make it easy and free to change counselors if needed. So if you don't like the first one, get you another one, right? That's good. It's more affordable than traditional offline counseling, and financial aid is available. BetterHelp wants you to start living a happier life today. You can visit their website and you can read a bunch of testimonials that they post daily, and just kind of see what people are saying, reviews about BetterHelp. So visit BetterHelp.com/LMO. That's BetterHelp, HELP, and join the over 1 million people taking charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional. In fact, so many people have been using BetterHelp that they are recruiting additional counselors in all 50 states. Oh, wow. That's awesome. So that's an update there. That's pretty awesome. That's good. So again, special offer for you, for the Let's Make Out podcast listeners. You get 10% off your first month at BetterHelp.com/LMO. So again, 10% off your first month if you go to BetterHelp.com/LMO. Good stuff. Check them out.
Everybody and their mama needs a therapist.
Yes.
Everybody. Yes, okay. Everybody. Yes. Highly recommended. Okay. Highly recommended. Absolutely. Speaking of therapy, and I don't know, maybe you don't are interested.
Oh yeah, no. Speaking of therapy,
Babe just found a therapist.
Yes. Last week I was able to start, and I had my first therapy session. It was awesome. Yeah. It was awesome. It was, because the first one is you want to feel the person out, right? Yeah. And so
first one in this season of life, because you have been to therapy.
Yeah, I've been to therapy. Yeah. But the first time with this therapist, in this season of life. So just, you kind of get to know each other, and when I said a few things, how I felt about a few things, he was able to, articulate that back with a very understanding way, like if some people just don't understand, but he's like, so maybe you feel like, is this why you feel like this? It was dead on. So I was like, man, that's that connection. We connect, like we have an understanding of, we speak the same language, because that's how you end up being friends with people, right? You guys speak the same language. You have the same. There's some very good similarities. There's some differences, but there's similarities. Yeah. And so it was awesome. So it was a good session. I've got next one scheduled, and
I'm so proud of you for doing that.
I'm excited. Yeah. So therapy doesn't make you crazy. Therapy just makes you. It means you're recognizing that you want to be better. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like a tune-up for your car.
That's right.
It's just like a tune-up for your mind. Okay? It's great. So, yeah, I'm just proud of you since we were talking about it. Sweetie. I wanted to put that out there.
I appreciate you.
All right, so I get a question, right?
That's right, you did.
We went off on a whole
tangent
there, okay?
Hopefully it was helpful. What you thinking?
Let's do...
Close my eyes so I can guess.
553.
Dang it.
Nope, you wasn't there.
I wasn't. When is it appropriate to resort to making a threat? When is a threat not a threat?
Okay. When is it appropriate to make a threat? That's a really good question. I mean, I don't know that threats are... I mean, I guess, okay. If somebody is trying to, like, harm you, maybe, and you're like, look, hey, come on over here. I got something for you. Like, that could be perceived as a threat, right? Yeah. Like, I think that if it's, self-defense or you're trying to, like, protect your territory or whatnot, okay, that's a threat is nice, but I don't know that it's something that you should just be out here threatening folks. Like,
no. I think that,
and then, I mean, and obviously there is a difference between a threat, an actual threat, and then somebody just talking crazy. Like, I feel like when you're putting a threat out there, like, you actually mean it. There is something behind it. You are ready to do what it is you're saying you're gonna do. Like, sometimes people just say things willy-nilly, but it's not necessarily a threat. They just talking. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah.
We all know. Like, it's folks out here just saying anything. And it's like, that's not a threat to me because I know you ain't going to do it. Exactly, okay, you're just talking crazy.
Exactly. You're just talking crazy.
You're just talking crazy. Yeah. So, I don't think that you should be out here just threatening folks.
Exactly. I think that, if it comes to... Yeah, I mean, somebody's trying to, for me as, somebody's trying to, if I feel you're trying to harm my family, my wife or my kids, then there will be a threat in your direction that you should, that you need to stop that or there's going to be repercussions.
Yeah.
Whatever those repercussions might be, but
whatever they are. Yeah.
But I think that, threatening someone should never be your first resort. And hopefully you never have to, but I almost don't think it's different. It's like threat when it comes to self-defense is a little different than like just being the person threatening somebody.
Yeah, that's true.
It's so different. True. It's so different, in that aspect, but yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. 'Cause I'm like, I mean, it's almost like if I have to threaten you, it's not the first thing. Clearly I've asked. Or you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to resort to threatening off top. Yeah, unless I've asked nicely a couple times and you're not complying or, you know what I'm saying? But then it's like, do I even have to threaten you or can I just take the action that needs to be done? Like, what I got to threaten you for? If I've asked you to stop doing whatever it is you're doing and you continue to do it, then it's just time for action. Like,
yeah, exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know. Because, okay, I had to look up threat to see, like, what it is.
Adjust y'all a little bit.
Oh.
There you go.
Yeah, so, and looking at the definition, a threat is a statement of an intention to inflict pain, injury, damage, or other hostile action on someone in retribution for something done or not done. So it's like a person or a thing likely to cause damage or danger. And when you read the definition, like, I'm not out here threatening nobody because it's not my place to inflict danger or harm or whatever on anybody. Whether you've done something to me or not, like, I'm not out here for revenge.
But you can also threaten like legal action.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so it doesn't
always have to be. If you out here using something that I have, trademarked and you shouldn't be, I can totally threaten you to stop using that with legal action or else, like, you know what I'm saying? Because it's my brand, it's my trademark.
Exactly.
You shouldn't be using it.
So there's definitely. So I think that a threat doesn't always. I mean, how many lawyer shows y'all watch? They threaten each other left and right, because it's about saying, you do this or else, right? So it doesn't have to be like dangerous or like inflicting pain. That takes it very like, that's very like specific to like dangerous type threats. Like whereas threats, I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, literally, you know.
I guess anything could be a threat. I mean, people threaten their kids. Like, if you don't get that cleaned up, you can't go outside and, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, like,
I guess that could be perceived as a threat.
So I'm saying, yeah. So I think that it's very vague, but no, threatening people shouldn't be the thing that you resort to first. I think that, you know, again, you know, if you're an adult, you should be able to just have an adult conversation and speak to people like an adult. You know,
I don't want to be in a position where I have to threaten you. Like, what?
Yeah,
Can we just
no? If I'm in a position where I need to threaten you, then then we're just. I mean, then if we had a relationship, there is no relationship at that point. Like we just done. Yeah. You know what I mean?
We're too old for that.
Too old. Yeah.
Interesting. What do you guys think?
Like, what do you guys think?
When do you feel like it's appropriate to threaten someone, or is it ever appropriate to threaten someone, and what would that look like? So I'd be curious to know. Some good question.
Yes.
All right. So today we're just gonna do a couple of Ask Gabe and Babes because we have had quite a few come in, and I don't think we've done any in a while. So, which one we're gonna do first? Do that one
first, or do you want to do the one we talked about?
I don't care. We can do it. It don't matter. Just pick one. Don't give me the option. Just pick one.
All right, so this person wants to be anonymous. It says, "Hey, Gabe and Chad.
Hey.
My name is Anonymous. I have been single the last 8 years, and I can't figure out why. I used to say I'm single by choice, early 20s neck roll, but I'm not sure if that was a choice or Jesus. But I have been told by my friends that they like myself don't know why I'm single. I'm 34, God-fearing, black, teacher, and so on. Not to be conceited, I'm nice looking, which is funny because she put her Instagram.
She did put her Instagram.
So we appreciate that.
You better be confident.
Be confident. We love that. We love that. But my point is, do you all have a suggestion on how to end this dry season, singleness, or dating in 2020? Well, maybe 2021 after this Rona is gone.
Honey, okay? Because I can tell you what dating looks like right now with Rona. I
mean, how do you know somebody, when they put their mask on, how do you know what they look like?
You can't even tell somebody's smiling at you because of these freaking masks. Like, how I'm supposed to flirt if I can't see what you doing?
That's what I'm saying. They could have dry, crusty lips. You'd never know.
You'd never know. It's so interesting. Like, for one, I feel like we are both so far removed from the dating pool. Like, what does dating even look like right now?
And we'll never know. So
yeah, I mean, we won't. But my thing would be, so before Rona, let's talk about before we were all quarantined and all of those things. What were you doing to pursue relationship?
Yeah, were you
because
dating?
Because I think that a lot of times, well, I've seen this, or I've had friends that are like, oh, I just can't find anybody, or I'm tired of being single and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, do you think that this person is going to fall out of the sky? Do you put yourself in position to meet someone? Yeah. Like, are you going to places where single people may be? Like, are you, putting yourself out there? Are you interested in dating apps? Because it's like, it's almost like, man, I've been trying to find a job, but you ain't put in that application. Like, you got to do something to...
Yeah, you have to put yourself in a position.
To get there, So I'd be curious to know, like, were you doing that before?
Yeah, and with Rona, obviously,
it's a little harder.
It's hard to put yourself in those positions, but...
But I think also with Rona, too, I mean, I don't know, everybody is in that situation that's single. So maybe there are an influx of people that are on dating sites now just looking to get to know someone because you have all of this time at home where maybe you guys may not meet up, or you may not feel comfortable meeting up, but now's a great time to have build a solid foundation with communication, because you know what I'm saying, all y'all got is FaceTime or Skyping or whatever.
Definitely do FaceTime, that way you can know that it's not getting catfished. Okay,
absolutely. Okay, because we definitely don't want to do that.
But this is, I mean, I think that I think everything you said is perfect. I mean, right now it is different, so but then you also have to just say, look, I mean, okay, you mentioned God, you mentioned that you have God. I think that, maybe this is a time where you just, you do find ways that you're comfortable with putting yourself out there, whether it is a dating site or, maybe you have some friends that maybe have some, that have some, maybe they're
like somebody that
friends.
They know.
Maybe, just there are ways to do things that, you're comfortable with, but also just know that when your man is coming, like, he's going to come strong. Like, God's going to bring him to you strong. He's going to bring him to you when you're fully ready, and right now is a perfect time, like Gabriel said, that to maybe meet somebody as far as online, or be able to talk to somebody and not be not confuse the physical of how they look so much versus who they are as a person. Because if you get to know this person for who they are, and and they're nice looking to you, then that's going to be so much deeper of a connection, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Than the quick butterflies, liking each other because of the way you look,
and doesn't matter at the end of the day.
That doesn't matter because real love is rooted in just something so much deeper. So I don't know. I mean, I think that I don't know. I think that also. Sorry, were you done? No, go ahead.
Let me make sure I'm not cutting you off.
You so cute.
So I was also going to say, if you look back over the time you have been single, have there been opportunities that maybe you missed, or maybe weren't up to your standards or what you thought it should look like, that maybe you passed by? Like, just, I would take this time to just kind of think about just the past, like, maybe there was an opportunity there and I wasn't ready, or I didn't see it because it didn't look like what I thought it would look like, or, just things like that, because that is just, it's helpful to do that reflection. So then if you find yourself in that situation again, you know how to handle it differently. But also I do think that you should just make sure that while you're in this season, it's totally okay for us to want to be in a different season, because I think we all get caught up in that, like looking for the next thing. Like, I'm currently here, but I want to be here. And it's just like, make sure that you're fully content where you are now and enjoying your singleness, because let me tell you, like, it's gonna change completely once somebody does come into your life and you take that next step. You get married, maybe kids come into play. So enjoy your singleness now. I get it, like, time is ticking. You probably like biological clock, what's happening, but I think if you'll be able to enjoy it more if you could sit with it and be happy in it. And sometimes things show up when you're least expecting them, and when you're not like so focused on them, you know what I'm saying? So I would just, and not saying that you aren't, I really don't know, but I would just make sure that you are doing that. Those are my tips. Make sure you're enjoying your singleness right now, working on yourself, doing the best that you can for you, and putting yourself in place for your goals in the future. And then also just working towards looking for someone. Prince Charming is not going to come knock on your door. I'm so sorry. It's just not going to happen that way. So you're going to have to do a little bit of work to find, or at least be in the area to find someone. And right now it may just be online dating, which sucks, but I mean, but it might not suck. We met online. Like, you just never know.
I just think it's one of those things. Where I think everything you said is perfect. And the last little tiny thing I say is that you have to just, it's one of the things that we always tell each other, and we tell ourselves, and I'm sure everybody's said it, that people tell you always to step out on faith, and to put yourself outside of your comfort zone, and because I mean, dating, is uncomfortable. Like, getting to know someone can be uncomfortable because it's, you're starting to open up, and you don't know this person, but you're trying to get to know them. Like, but you just have to be willing to, step out and do something that, again, that maybe doesn't look the same way, doesn't look the way that you think it's supposed to look. We always have this preconceived, notion of what something should look like, but then it looks completely different because that's the way it was supposed to look. So just,
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We wishing you luck, and we know that you got this, and
hang in there.
2021 is going to be a great year.
We shall. You know what? We all are saying 2021 is going to be a great year, but what if it's not? What if 2021 looks just like 2020? Then what? Like, you just got to make it your best year. Yeah, and true. How can you make this year your best? Because 2020 is crappy in terms of, the things that we want to do that we can't necessarily do, but also it's a year of growth. I think that this year is a growth for a lot of people, because when you are so far removed from normalcy, like, you kind of have to rethink your definition of normalcy. True. Maybe what you were doing wasn't really working anyway, and it was time to be switched up, so it's I'm choosing to look at 2020 as a year of growth. Yes, I'm not traveling as much as I would like to. Yes, I'd like to get the heck up out of here, but what have I learned from all of this? Like, all of this, what have I learned? Yeah, absolutely. And how will I come out better? Yeah, and it could be worse, and you always have to remember that there's somebody out there that probably has it worse. Yeah, I think that's great. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, hopefully that helps. And if we have any singles that are watching, how are you handling it during quarantine? Maybe you have some tips for a homegirl, like, if you met somebody since we've been in quarantine, and how did you do it? All of that stuff. So absolutely, all our single folks, let's talk about it. Well, y'all talk about it in the comments, not but y'all talk about it. Y'all talk about it. Exactly. Because I'm curious to know too. Like, I literally don't know how I would handle being single right now, because it's not like everything is open where you just,
Well, you're not gonna have to.
Well, thank the Lord. Okay. Thank the Lord.
Thanks the Lord.
So, okay, the next Gabe and Babe. Ask Gabe and Babe.
Let me find it.
Did you lose it? He lost it.
He lost it. That's not it. Which one was it? Oh, here we go. All right. You want to read that one?
Sure. Okay. The title is Why Should I Get Married? Hi, Gabe and Chad. Hey. I am 27 and have been in a relationship for the past 4.5 years. My boyfriend and I have been discussing getting married, but honestly, I'm not sure I see the point. I am not one of those girls who always dreamed of finding the perfect guy, getting engaged, and having some elaborate dream wedding. Until I met him, I never even considered marriage. For some reason, I just never thought I wanted or needed to be married. I do love my boyfriend and I want to be with him forever, but I guess I just don't understand the point of marriage. We can still be committed to each other without a binding contract. We can still have a family, etc. Not getting married doesn't mean I'm just going to walk out of the door one day just because things get hard. I am not against marriage, and if this is something that is really important to my boyfriend, then I want to make him happy. I just feel like I need a better reason than, well, I'm just doing it because he wants to. I also come from a very Christian Southern family where people just get married. Well, people get married just because that's what you're supposed to do, or because their parents peer pressure them into doing it. But I need a better reason than that. I really admire the relationship you guys have and hope you can help. Signed, an independent feminist who doesn't believe in doing things for the sake of tradition.
That's a long name. That's a long name.
Hey, girl. Hey.
That's a long name.
That is super long.
Do you have an abbreviation for that name? like an acronym?
I know, right? Okay, girl, so that was a lot. All right, so do you want to start first?
Yeah, I'll start first since you just read.
Go for it.
I think, let me see. No, I think that, I think it's completely understandable, if I grew up, not really, I never had plans, like, marriage wasn't like, ooh, one day I'm gonna wake up, one day I'm gonna grow up and get married and have kids. Like, it was never something that I, like, thought about like that. But I think that, ultimately, I think that sometimes it's easy to, getting to a way. So here's tradition, right? So tradition's here. Here's going against tradition, right? And I think that sometimes people can get stuck in the, I don't believe in doing things you know, the traditional way just because people say I'm supposed to. That's cool, but where do your real feelings lie? Where are you at really? Are you doing it just to not be traditional? Or are you doing it because, you know, because that's truly what you believe? Like, are you just trying to be the rebel?
Yeah.
Or are you just really, you know, I don't see the point. And it's cool either way. I'm just asking the question, maybe something to kind of think and kind of just look.
That's a good start.
You know, introspectively, is that right? Retrospectively,
Introspect, because into yourself.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So look inside, deep inside, and just, you know.
Look into your heart.
And so I think, I think that it's okay for you to not understand why you want to get married, or, you know, maybe not understand what the importance is.
Yeah.
But that's something you and your boyfriend will need to discuss, especially if he wants to get married.
That's true.
But I think that people put so much emphasis into what marriage actually isn't versus what marriage is. Like, marriage is just this. It should be this fun, like this union that you're making before God. It's not about that contract or that legally, you know, that marriage certificate that you get that the pastor signs. None of that really matters. Matters in the long run. Like, the marriage is something that you're, you know, for us is like we're standing before our family and our friends, and most importantly before God, saying that we want to be together forever, that you made us for each other, and we're gonna, you know. And I think that, so it's not about, for me, it wasn't about tradition or you know, let's get married because that's just what we're supposed to do. It was just about I wanted to, you know, in every way possible show Gabrielle that being married to her was my life mission. Like this is it. From this point forward, my life mission is to be the best husband, the best person for you. And yeah, sure, you can do that as boyfriend and girlfriend, but, you know, but Gabrielle's going to get into some of the reasons why, you know, I think that it can also be beneficial, you know? I don't know. It's a tough
It is a tough question,
because for us, we believe in it, right?
Yeah.
We believe in marriage, and we don't believe in marriage because it's tradition. We believe in marriage because we feel that it's the step that you take when you want to be with someone forever. And, you know,
yeah, it was kind of like the sign, like the ultimate commitment, you know. And we see things differently though, because I grew up wanting to be married.
Exactly.
Like, it was a dream of mine, wanting to be married, wanting to have children. So I see it, you know, differently. It's always been a dream of mine. And my question to you would be like, why not? Like, is going against tradition that important to you that you just would rather not be married? Like, what is it that you're holding on to by not doing it? Like, you can still be a feminist and be married. Like, that doesn't change anything.
You're still a woman.
You can
still a strong woman.
You can still, you know, be independent while being married. You can still go against tradition. Your wedding don't even have to look like what it traditionally looks like. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't even have to have a wedding. Like, y'all can go to the courthouse and it'd be...
Or you can have a wedding in the pool, get married in the pool with the preacher, whatever
like,
you want to do.
You can make it
fun,
whatever you want to make it. So I think that as much as you want to stay away from tradition, it's like, oh, everybody's saying you should do it. Do what is in your heart and make it look like what you want it to look like. And that's totally okay. But then also, with some of the things, so I try to like pull up, you know, some articles, because I do feel like legally there are some benefits to actually getting married.
Yeah, absolutely.
In terms of, you know, having, you know, joint assets. So if you're going to spend the rest of your life with this person, and you guys acquire property, or you start a business, or whatever,
have kiddos,
have children, like, there are legal protections when it is your actual spouse. So, you know, say somebody gets sick, you were more apt to be able to take leave from your job to support your spouse versus your boyfriend or your girlfriend.
Exactly.
And somebody passes away. There is spousal right there for assets, even if there isn't a will in place.
Yeah, but if you're not married, then state can come grab stuff.
You know, like there's so many, and it's different depending on where you live. But that is also something you want to think about. Like if you guys are going to be building a life together, then, you know, are you legally protected to be the beneficiary of the things that the person has? Like, okay, Social Security, like, you know, all of these things, like health insurance is just a lot easier when you're actually married. Like there's a lot of like benefits legally. And actually, like, I'm kind of paraphrasing, but obviously there's a tax deduction, like this tax benefit to be able to file taxes married and jointly. And then let's see, Social Security benefits. So say, you know, you can receive your other person's benefits, like if they pass, or I think like after you've been married 10 years, I believe. If they pass, then you can, you know, receive their Social Security benefits. There are you know, health insurance benefits, paternity, child benefits, like depending on where the child is born, like like if it, so it says like if any issues ever arise, like the paternity of the child of a married couple is less of an issue versus if something were to happen and you guys weren't legally married. Like that's a whole nother situation. Leave benefits, which we covered, but then also this has like an emotional benefits of marriage, and it says longer life, which I didn't know this, but it says research consistently shows that couples in a committed marriage even live longer than those who are single, cohabitating, or divorced. And it says, but why? To start, the emotional support that is possible in marriage provides each partner with a feeling of being heard, particularly for men. Being in a stable relationship allows men to break outside of their gender expectations and roles. And then it says less chance of developing depression. Increased serotonin levels. So those are like, obviously, like, and that says a healthy relationship. An article, healthy relationship, obviously, because there are a lot of marriages out there that
just aren't healthy, right?
That's not healthy, so it doesn't really even matter. But honestly, at the end of the day, this is your decision. Like, I'm not here to convince you to get married because you got to be happy with your decision.
Absolutely.
I do think that there are benefits there, though, and to me, it's the ultimate sign of commitment. There are a lot of people that feel like it's not necessary, and you could be one of those people.
And that's okay if that is.
But that's just, that's kind of how we felt about it. It was just like, why would I not?
Yeah, I want to spend the rest of my life with Gabrielle. Like, so, like, for me, you know, I wanted to do, you know, it's like almost like, okay, so here's an example. Like, you know, like, when I engaged Gabrielle, that was like when I proposed, when I proposed to Gabrielle, it was almost like, that's like me saying I want Jesus to come into my life. When we got married, that's like a baptism. It's a public display of, you know, I'm not comparing the two. I'm comparing the public.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
The public, what they are. They're this saying, you know what, like when you get baptized, it's this public, you know, thing showing that you're washed by the blood of Jesus and you're saved, you know, that he's in your heart. You know, when we got married, it's this public display of, you know what, God is in the center of this union and we're going to be together for life. Because God put us together. So it wasn't about, you know, the rings. It wasn't about
the wedding.
It wasn't, again, like Gabriel said, I think it's a great idea. You can make the wedding look like whatever you want. Seriously.
You don't even have to have one.
You don't even have to have one if you don't want to. But if you do want to have one and you want it to be on a yacht, like in a pool or a pool party, you can do whatever you want. I think that you don't have to be traditional just because it's tradition. You can put your own spin
on it,
on what it looks like for you and your boyfriend. So don't get wrapped up in it has to look a certain way or feel a certain way. Just do what's in your heart, and you know, do what you and your boyfriend talk about and what you guys want to do. But you know, I mean, but I will say, I think that sometimes so many people get, you know, they get stuck on things that don't necessarily matter in the long run, and they hold on to their, like, this is so important to me, like, and then they let something good go. You know, they're so stubborn with one small thing that doesn't really matter in the long run. If you love your boyfriend, you want to be with him for the rest of your life, and he says, I want to get married. I know you said you would want to make him happy, but what if you were to hold on to that? Well, no, I don't want to get married.
Yeah.
Like, would you be willing to lose your relationship with your boyfriend off of this one thing that, what's the difference?
Yeah, I think it's to me, it seems like it's a deeper thing for you.
Yeah, I think so too.
And I think you asking, why should I get married? I'm asking, why not?
Why shouldn't you?
What do you think you would be giving up by getting married? Like, what do you think it would say about you to get married? Because it's almost like you're holding on to this ideal of, I'm a rebel and I'm a feminist and I don't need to be married to nobody. I do things my way. But what's the root cause of that? Like, get to why you feel that way and what the thought of getting married, what does it do to you? What does it make you feel like? And examine that feeling. Because we can tell you all the benefits all day long. Yeah. But if it's something in your mind, something maybe that you've experienced, or that you've seen bad marriages in your life, or I don't know how you grew up, but it's something that's caused you to think like, I don't need to get married. Why? Just because people say I need to do it? I mean, people say you need to follow the law. Like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's a lot of things that we do. Everything is traditional. Did you go to college? Do you have a job, a 9-to-5? Like, that's tradition. That's what we do because that's what we see is done. So I think that you should kind of sit with and maybe dig a little deeper and figure out
why you feel the way you feel.
What is the reason why you, because it's got to be more than being a feminist, like, or just going against tradition. What is the real reason? Do you fear that maybe it won't work? Do you fear that it's going to end up in divorce? And maybe you're like, I don't even want that headache. Like,
but that's if it is something like that, then that's deeper because because it doesn't matter if you're married or just boyfriend and girlfriend. If you feel like it could end in a breakup, then that's something that you need to address either way, right? Marriage. If you go into a marriage or you're in a relationship thinking that it could fail, then that's an issue in itself, right?
It is. And it's more than just, I'm a realist or I'm trying to be realistic.
No, because we don't see our marriage ending. We don't see divorce in any step. No. Because we know that we can work on whatever we need to work on to make it through the rest of this life together. Yeah. But that's a choice and that's a belief. Yeah. In our love. It comes down to your belief, And so, your feelings are very valid. You have a right to feel the way you're feeling. But I feel like that, and just like what Gabriel summed up so perfectly, is that maybe there's something deeper inside that you need to identify and maybe talk to somebody about and figure out why it's even an issue. If you want to be with him, why it's even an issue to to get married. I don't know.
And, hopefully that helps. And you're young. You're 27. Yeah. So maybe you just don't feel like it's necessary right now. That could change. That could change next year, 2 years from now, 3 years from now. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like hopefully that helps. And I'm sure there are probably a lot of people watching that may have long time partnerships and you never got married. So if there's anybody that's watching or listening, feel free to share your experience. Like, why did you make the decision to get married or to not get married, and how is that going for you? Because obviously I don't know everything. No, so, I think that we can only tell you how we think about it and the perceived benefits for us.
Because ultimately for us, we just, again, we've said it many times, we love and we want relationships and marriages to be successful and happy. And so if you're in a relationship, if you're married with someone or if you've been with somebody for a long time and you're not married, we're happy for all of you and we want all of you to thrive. But we'd love your insight into why you have not been married or why you did get married. Maybe you thought the same way that this young lady feels, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it would be interesting just to see some of the feedback there.
Yeah. So thanks for sending in your question. Though. We hope that gave you some things to think about. Absolutely.
So we actually want to tell you about our last sponsor for this podcast really quick. So we talked about Magic Spoon last week. So I love cereal. Gabrielle is getting into the cereal a little bit more too.
You're talking about getting into cereal. I've been into cereal.
You've been into it, but
I just don't eat it as often.
It's something that don't fit her macros. But as you know, cereal sometimes just doesn't have the best macros. Okay, a lot of times a lot of carbs, lots of sugar, all that kind of good stuff. So Magic Spoon kind of comes in because they have a little bit better option for you. So 0 sugar, 11 grams of protein, and only 3 net grams of carbs in each serving. Like, that's crazy. That's never been on any cereal I've ever seen in my life. They have 4 flavors: cocoa, fruity, frosted, and blueberry. They taste amazing. Honestly, too good to be true. A lot better than, you would think from a cereal with with no sugar. It's keto friendly, gluten free, grain free, soy free, low carb, and GMO free. I would say that my favorite is fruity still. I think it's just I don't know. It's got a good flavor. It just very delicious. I loved it. You can snack on it, or you can just eat it. Eat it with some milk. And it's like great because you can snack whenever. Like I said, you can eat it with milk, like for a breakfast or like a late night snack, or you can just snack on it with no milk. So you can actually go to magicspoon.com/LMO to grab a variety pack and try it today. And be sure to use our promo code LMO at checkout to get free shipping. And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. I mean, that's pretty confident right there. Good. That's magicspoon.com/LMO and use the code LMO for free shipping. So thank you to Magic Spoon for sponsoring this podcast. Yes. And check out that link down below and give them a try.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's see.
I feel like.
Do you want to end on a question or two?
Yeah, let's end on a question, and then we'll.
Let's see here. Or 1,000 questions, but I don't think that these are numbered.
They're not.
So you have to pick a
page 46.
Number. Page 46. Oh.
There you go. Stop.
What was a very difficult educational experience for you?
I got a few different.
Really? Difficult educational experience.
I would say that basic training was difficult. Army. It was difficult learning some of the stuff I was learning and stuff like that. But I think the most difficult part of that educational experience was the weather.
The weather?
Yeah, because it was in Fort Sill, Oklahoma, October through December.
Ooh. So was it cold?
Cold.
In Oklahoma?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Yes. Cold.
I don't know enough about it.
And there was ice on the ground, and it would snow.
Really?
And we would only be able to wear t-shirt and shorts.
Ooh.
And sometimes some gloves and a hat. Sometimes. Dang. And we would run in the morning at 6 a.m. It would be just frigid. And I was in A group, because I was a really good runner.
Yeah.
So we would run 7.5 minute pace.
Ooh.
And we'd run for, anywhere from 5 to 8 miles, depends on, and it was rough.
So while y'all were out there in shorts and a t-shirt, what did your officers or what were they bundled up?
No, they were the same thing.
Oh, okay. They had the same
So it's interesting because I went to Fort Sill, which is an artillery base, but all of my basic training, all of my drill sergeants were all ex-special forces.
Really?
It was so interesting. I'm like, how'd you get stuck in Fort Sill? But they were all ex-special forces. All had a special forces tab, Ranger tab. So they were all some really, squared away, so some folks that had some training. So for them, running in shorts and a t-shirt
wasn't
that's normal, but
okay.
I think that's why we had to. I think that's why we.
Oh, you think it was something that they were like?
I think that they were
let's make them do this.
We're gonna make it more difficult, but I'm so thankful for it. It was so awesome. So that's one.
Interesting.
Yeah, that was one. Learning to fly UAVs, learning to fly the Hunter UAV. A remote control plane that's the size of a Cessna. Learning how to fly that.
Do people just know what Cessnas are? Say the size of a Cessna.
Cessna is a private plane. You see the private plane that 2 to 4 people can sit in. You see them flying around.
Because I'm like, what does that even look like?
So they're 1,800 pounds, about a 50-foot wingspan, about 50 feet long. That's crazy. It's a big aircraft. And so.
Did you damage any trying to learn how to fly it? How does that?
Training never had one go down.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, in like, you know, training to go overseas, I mean, we had one go down in a training mission, go out, and that it lost the engine and couldn't get it back. Couldn't keep it above the trees to bring it back in, so it ended up clipping trees.
Oh,
and then
just went down.
and then went down. So I mean,
that's crazy.
We lost
you lost one
overseas. We lost some. When we're actually in combat. So
yeah.
But yeah, I think that just like all mine are more Army related.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was some difficult educational experiences.
That's interesting. I'm trying to think. Do I have a very difficult educational experience? What was difficult? I don't know. I think that's a really good question.
I love you.
I'm trying to think. I think the most difficult educational experience for me was getting my MBA, like my master's program. And not particularly because it was so like hard. I don't know if it was that. I think it was just that I had so much going on. I was working 2 jobs and I was doing that, and I feel like I didn't give my all. Like I graduated, with a pretty high GPA. Like I got it done, but it was a stressful time just because I had a whole lot going on. Like, man, that was the best feeling ever. I was so glad that I was done. I
celebrated from afar.
You did. Yeah. I was so glad that I was done, even though I knew I was going to do absolutely nothing with the degree that I just spent.
You were going to be a successful business owner.
But yeah, like I think that was probably the most difficult for me, just because I was like an adult and was juggling life.
Yeah, she had
and
life,
working 2 jobs while trying to.
Wasn't a full-time college.
Yeah, student. It wasn't. Yeah, I wasn't full-time, and it was designed for adults. Like, we only met like once a week, but still, it was just a lot of work.
A lot of work, yeah, but it's
work. Yeah, a lot of work. So let's see.
Cool.
How many pages? Let's do page 201. 201. Okay. 201.
Jeez.
Stop.
Would you rather spend time or money on something?
Money. I mean, I think that's pretty. I mean, it's so broad. Would you rather spend time or money on something? My time is money, man. I'd rather have my time to do something else and spend the money to have it done for me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because
as when I'm thinking of terms of like, maybe home improvement or something like that, or even just like admin tasks. That's not where I flourish. So I'd rather spend my time doing what I am good at and pay somebody else to do what they're good at, because I work best in my wheelhouse.
Yeah, because I think that's the thing too, is that we, there is one thing for sure that you cannot get back, and it's time.
It's the time. Yeah.
And you can make the money back, but time is something you can't get back.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So for me, it's like I'd rather, that's why for us we like to travel. So even if we go on our own, like sure we could drive somewhere, and get there, but for us, time is money. Like the experience, like we want to spend our time enjoying it. Mm-hmm. So we would rather just fly there, get there quicker, and enjoy our experience. Sure, it's cost a little bit more money, but the time we can't get back.
That's true.
So
yeah, I mean, and we do take road trips every now and then.
But that's why we fly more than we road trip.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
You think that's it?
I think that's it, y'all.
Okay.
I think that's it.
Y'all know me. I'll keep going with questions.
We'll keep on going. Hopefully you enjoyed.
Yes.
Hopefully this was, helpful to somebody, and we, and again, our opinions. We don't know everything.
Not licensed professionals.
We're just trying to help.
How we're thinking.
Trying to answer your questions with as much honesty and honest opinion as we can give you.
Yeah, obviously, because it's all our opinion. Like we don't have the right answers. Like.
Yeah.
Life is subjective. Is there a right answer?
But if we all work together with a good heart, then we can figure out the right answer.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much for listening and or watching.
Yes.
We would love it if you would take the time to rate us on whatever platform you're listening to. It's great. We love seeing the reviews. We love seeing the ratings. And then it just also helps to expand the audience, allow other people who may not be familiar with us to come across us and, grow the family even bigger.
Yeah.
You can always catch us and watch us on Let's Make Out Podcast on YouTube. You can find us there on Facebook and Instagram as well. And then you can tweet us at Let's Make Out Pod. Let's see. If you haven't asked Gabe and Babe that you want us to discuss or you want to hear our opinion on, feel free to send it, okay? Email us at letsmakeoutpodcast@gmail.com. Put hashtag Ask Gabe and Babe in the subject.
That's right.
And we look forward to hearing more from you guys.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for watching and listening or listening. And we'll talk to you next week.
Bye, guys.
Deuces.
Woohoo.
Yeah, we got it done, y'all.
Got it done.
So
That was a little lengthy.
yeah, a little bit. Not too bad.
Hope y'all enjoyed it.
Yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it.
Isn't it good to see us back
know,
together?
it's the best.
Yes. Okay. Thanks for watching, guys.
Talk to you later.